Hey everyone, hope you're okay. Welcome back here to Busy Bee Budgets, where we talk about all things on our journey to financial independence. Apologies for my voice, it's early in the morning and I'm still a bit croaky, so I've got my coffee just to keep me going. And feel free to join in if you want to go grab a cuppa of something. Today should be quite a quick sinking funds cash stuff, just because I use the avalanche method, so I only stuff funds one at a time. So rather than how I used to do it was put 50 quid in here, 20 quid in here, 100 quid in there across all my many sinking funds, but I just felt like I wasn't really making progress. So I came up with I got the idea, I think I saw it on Balancing the Budget with Gemma first, about basically consolidating what I had existing and then using the avalanche method going forward. So this month I've got 2,000 to stuff, but what I do with my sinking funds is basically put them in the order that I'm going to stuff them. So the ones at the backs are the ones that are fully stuffed. So health is fully stuffed at 250. Gifts was fully stuffed at 250, but I just need to top that up because I've spent some money out of it. I've got my emergency fund of 1,000. And they're all the kind of done ones, and then I have the rest in priority of how I'm going to stuff them. So vets 500, which is getting stuffed today. Car, which I'm aiming for 1,500, part of which will be stuffed today. Home will then be the next one, so I'm aiming for 1,500 for that. Christmas is going to get 1,000, and then my treats one is anything I have left over from my variable binder, which is this one. At the end of the month, I pop into treats, and that has only got £10, I think, so far. So it's quite sad. But I am going to put some more money in there after I do my budget this week. And then clothes is getting nothing. I started a clothing diet at the beginning of the year. So I've said to myself, I can't buy any clothes unless I sell some and use the money for that. But in essence, what I've done this year is not buy any clothes at all since February, or since the 1st of February when I started this. So there we go. So emergency fully funded at 1,000. Gifts needs topping up today, but it's 250. Health is fully funded at 250. And there we go. So, as I said, I've got 2,000, but what I do is obviously I don't want to stuff that much cash and have that much cash in the house. So I use a mixture of virtual stuffing and then physical cash stuffing. So, I use these placeholders. I think they're from What If I Fly 17, but I'll pop it in the description below. And I use those alongside cash. So what I'm going to do is stuff 100 in cash today and then the rest in virtual. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 90 and 100 in physical cash. And then I've got a place under for 500 and for 400, and we'll come on to that in a little bit. So I'm just going to pop my binder over there so I can see it. So first one, which is vets, is getting the full £500. And what I'll be able to do then is unplug it and move it to the back. And then that's just so that I know that that I'm stuffing them in the order that I want to. So we'll pop that in here. And what I do is have a separate savings account that I just put these sinking funds in. So although it's like one big account, I know what each of the values is worth, if that makes sense. And I'm going to stuff 410 into car because that's what was left over. So I was doing 1,000 into financial goals, which I do every month. Gifts had 250 in last month and I spent 90. So I need to replenish that 90, so I'll do that when we stuff it. Vets is getting 500, which is a full amount. And then car is getting the balance, which is 410. So I'm aiming for 1,500 in my car. So between this month and then next month, hopefully I should get to be able to fully stuff that. But it really feels good that you're making progress and kind of fully stuffing them, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do 400 with a placeholder. She says if she can get in the envelope. And then £10 physical. So what I tend to do is have round numbers in the in placeholders, and then I'll just do a bank transfer for that, and then anything balanced in notes, if that makes sense. So like I have got some cash, like so for instance health, I think it's got 50 quid in cash, and then a placeholder for 200, so 250, and then we will do the same for gifts. So gifts had 250. I actually spent 90, so I spent the 50 physical cash, and then I spent 40 out of the bank. So although it says 200, it's actually 160. So what I'm going to do is put 20, 40, 50 back in here. So it backs it up to 250. And what I will do with the other 40 is I will pop that and take that back to the bank and pay it into the savings account. So basically, this will now be fully stuffed again. I don't think I've got any gifts to buy in July. I know I have in August. But what I will continue to do is each month, just when I'm doing my sinking funds allocation, is I'll just, if I've spent out of any of my sinking funds, I'll just top it up before I move on to fully stuffing the next one, if that makes sense. Just so that they always remain topped up. But it's obviously a lot less work to have to do that for like £90 or whatever than it is to do start from scratch every time. So that's the way I'm doing that. So I feel like that didn't make much sense, but it made sense to me. So that is my sinking funds, like fully stuff, very quick. But I think that's the good thing about the snowball or the avalanche method. I can never remember which one it is. Maybe it's the snowball method because I started with the smallest one first. But anyway, who knows? So yeah, next month I will finish stuffing car, and then I will move on to partly stuff home if I've got anything left over, and then vice versa. So yeah, all good. Okay, perfect. Thanks for bearing with me. That was a little bit garbled and a little bit all over the place. But we've stuffed £2,000 into sinking funds this month. And what I'd like to do for 2023, when I've paid off my loan and I should have a bit more kind of cash, is I'd like to get to a position where I'm stuffing 50% of my income into sinking funds. So I'm super fortunate to have a high income, but what I want to do is make sure I'm being really intentional with that, and next year I'd like to focus more on investments, and to help me do that I'd like to get to that 50% goal. So for this month that would have been around £2,725, so that's enough stuff's 2,000. So obviously that's kind of where I'm aiming to get to. So might not be for a few months now, but that's what I'd like to have as an aim for 2023, is 50% of my income gets stuffed into sinking funds and savings and investments, and we're kind of really working towards that financial future. So thanks for bearing with me. Lovely to see you as always. I hope you have a good day, and let me know what you're doing with your sinking funds. I feel like it's a time of year where people are raiding their sinking funds, not necessarily building them up. And I guess I'm lucky because we haven't got any holidays or any big kind of purchases on the horizon. So it just means that we can kind of get this in order. But there you go. Right, I'm off to transfer via my bank the remaining bits that I need to. And I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.